Welcome back to No Pants Profits. My name is Richard. I'm coming to you from La Cassine, Louisiana. I was literally doing a road trip down I-10. I-10's right there where those cars are. And I saw this sign. It said Distillery. It said tours Tuesday through Saturday, next exit. I immediately went to my phone. I'm like, it's Tuesday. Also, it's time they're open. They're open from 9 to 5. So you know what? I'm thinking I need to see the bottles. I'm pretty sure I have had Bayou Rum a few times on Carnival cruises, especially when I was doing my March Madness of Rum, which you may or may not see before this. But this is a surprise. It was not on my bingo card. I didn't know it was here. I didn't think it was. It's 3 miles off of I-10. The reason it's 3 miles off I-10 is you have to trace back to the side of I-10. It's in a Louisiana spirits distillery, founded May 3rd, 2011, in Las Cassines, Louisiana. I mean, it is the official rum of the New Orleans Saints, supposedly. Yeah, closed Sunday, Monday. Oh, the door has opened. Hello. I'm just trying to look at what's the most popular one you have. I think I've had it before. That's why I don't know. The orange bottle. No, then I've never had this before. I want to try it, yeah, but I'm just wondering. It's like, okay, Satsuma, Gator Bite, ooh, black coffee. Yeah, I swear this is probably the one I've had. It's just one of these. I don't know. I swear I've had Bayou Rum before from Louisiana, but you know what? Let's see what the tour is, the tasting, and just try and do all that. So let's see what it was for the tour. They asked me, "Are you going to do the tasting?" I was like, "Yeah." Bayou Rum, BayouRum.com, the spirit of Louisiana. Please drink responsibly. Why are you on the side of a highway? All right. I think it's time for our tour. I think it's time for our tour.
All right, y'all. So welcome to Louisiana.
All right.
From Bayou Rum Distillery. My name is Gracie. I'll be giving you your tour and your tasting today. So before we go ahead and head back, just a little bit of history about us. So we were founded in 2011 and we started distributing our rum in 2013. This actually used to be a sugarcane field before we brought the property. We added on our distillery, our gift shop, our offices, and our event center was finished in 2019, and we're going to view that later in the tour. Also, if y'all notice that greenhouse on the corner of the property when you drive up, that is actually one of the oldest buildings in the La Cassine Highway area. It was built in 1903, and we split it in half right here, pieced it back together. We actually use it as our bridal suite now. So the brides get ready over there, and then they'll go to the event center for their wedding. And if y'all don't have any questions, we can head to the back. There's just a few rules. We just ask that you'll stay between the yellow lines on the floor. Try not to touch, try not to touch anything because it might be hot, and follow me at all times. Y'all are welcome to take any pictures or videos during the tour. If y'all like pictures in front of anything, y'all can ask me.
Perfect. So you do nationwide distribution, correct? Yep. Okay. Because I swear I've had it before. I just don't recognize any of the bottles. But
yeah, we distribute to over 45 states and 75 countries.
Yeah.
I like that shirt.
Daddy's home. Yes, he is.
All right. So welcome to our distillery. We are going to start our tour in the back and then work our way back up here. So y'all can go ahead.
All right. And this is your only production facility? Is this?
Yes, this is
and you
the
just
one
kind of
only.
expand it out?
Yep.
And independently owned?
It is.
Okay,
Actually,
good.
no, sorry. We're owned by Stoli Vodka.
Okay, so you're owned by Stoli now. Okay.
All right. Can anybody tell me what this is? Yes. So this is molasses. Of course, to be considered a rum, we have to be made from molasses, which comes from sugarcane, which Louisiana has an abundance of. So we actually get our molasses from M.A. Patsuit & Sons, which is just south of Lafayette in the New Iberia area. They are one of the oldest still working sugar mill companies in the United States. So they actually send this to us in 3 large tanker trucks totaling 12,000 gallons. That's just enough to fill up our 2 6,000-gallon heat jacketed tanks.
Oh, good God.
Here. So for right now, those are just holding tanks for the molasses. We'll keep molasses in there at about room temperature, which is about 90 degrees. We don't want it too hot because it's just a sticky mess and nobody wants to deal with that. And then we don't want it too cold because the molasses would crystallize, and at that point it's just waste and then we can't use it. All right. So also we do receive big white bags of raw sugar from them as well. This weighs about 2,000 pounds. So our production team is going to combine raw sugar and molasses. We're going to move that into our pasteurization tank using this big white pole right here. And then we're going to fill this tank about 2/3 away with water. We're going to heat this up to 160 degrees and we hold that temperature for exactly 30 minutes. We do that in order to kill off any still living bacteria, wild yeast, or anything that might later affect the rums in the process. Okay. All right. So after 30 minutes in the pasteurization tank, we're going to send this product through a small heat exchanger. That's going to drop it back down to 90 degrees. This is about 4,000 gallons, so it'll take about 45 minutes to cool down. After this product is cooled down, we're going to shoot it over to one of our 4 fermentation tanks. And then here is when we actually add our own blend of yeast and nutrients. At this point, the yeast cells are going to start eating out the sugar, and then this is where we start actually producing small amounts of alcohol, which is everyone's favorite part, including mine. All right. So our fermentation process takes exactly 5 days. So after 5 days, we get a product that looks like this.
Okay.
So you could call this a distiller's beer, or we call this a fermented wash. You actually can drink this. This is about 9 to 12% alcohol. This looks kind of nasty to me and I would not drink this. And of course we want to make rum, so we're going to keep the process going. All right. Okay. So next in our process, we're going to take that fermented wash and then we're going to move that into our wash still up here. We're going to heat this wash still up to exactly 210 degrees. The alcohol will separate out of the fermented wash and then rise in a vapor-like substance. That vapor is going to travel along the skinny silver pipe into the skinny condenser in this corner. And then there is when we actually cool it back down into a liquid, and at that point it's about 30 to 40% alcohol. So not crystal clear yet, so then that's when we move it to our big 8-plated copper stills. And then this is where we start actually getting our cuts of rum, which is separated into 3 different cuts. So we get heads, hearts, and tails. So heads are very violent chemicals. We do not use that. We actually send that off for industrial use, and that's what they use in rubbing alcohol, cleaning supplies, pretty much anything like that. So you definitely do not want to drink that. Also, next we have hearts, which is what we use to make our rum. That actually comes off of the stills at 180 proof, but we do cut it back to 80 eventually, which is our Bayou White. And that's the base and start to all the rums that y'all are going to taste later on in the tour. Also, interesting facts about 180 proof. Our lab right here, they actually test the 180 proof on the hour every single hour. So they're pretty happy in there, but they do that in order to tell the difference between hearts and our last cut, which is tails. So tails actually has good and bad alcohol in it. We actually collect those and we'll rerun it through the distillation process one more time. And then we do that in order to collect any good alcohol or hearts that we might have missed in the first go round. So lastly, we have a waste left in the wash still. It's a mash left over from the fermented wash. At this point, there's no alcohol left in the mash, so we actually send that mash off to a local cattle feed company. They'll use it to make sweet feed for cows, which is pretty awesome. And then from molasses to fermentation to the stills, this whole process takes exactly 1 week. Any questions?
And everything comes out here the same. It's your base 40. And then where do they do the rest of the stuff? Is that?
They'll either give it away.
No. I'm saying your base 40%. Where do they add the flavorings and all that? Is there a different line for that? Or, we're going there. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
No, you're good. All right. So once we actually receive the hearts, then we're going to send samples to the lab. They'll use a device called a gas chromatograph, and they use that to test over 20 different compounds of the hearts for quality assurance, just to make sure they're all good to use. And we're either going to use those hearts to make our flavored rums or our aged rums. Okay? All right. So if we wanted to make our flavored rums, then we're going to send our hearts over to our blending tanks. So this is where we get most of our products, pretty much anything that's not aged in barrels. So this is where we would get white, pink, spiced, satsuma, and coffee. And each of our products actually have their own tanks. They'll actually blend in these tanks for over a 2-week period of time. So over the 2 weeks is when they'll add all the seasonings, the spices, the flavors, and all that good stuff like that. So after 2 weeks, they will transfer over to the resting tanks, which is the tall silver ones. They'll actually rest in these tanks for about 20 to 45 days. So we actually do that in order to get it back down to the desired proof or alcohol percentage of whatever product we decided to make or bottle at the time. So after those are done resting, they'll hook it up to the side wall right here behind the tanks. They have little silver spouts on the wall. They'll hook up a hose to those, and then they'll start immediately bottling from the other side. So there's not much to say about the blending tanks except they're blending tanks, and I don't know much about the science part to it, but that's not my specialty. They get to drink rum all day, so they can deal with that. But has anybody ever tried Bayou Rum before, or no?
I'm pretty sure I have, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, so we are going to be touring our event center today, so we won't be coming back in here, so I'm just going to explain this real quick. So this right here is our mural. This depicts our mascot T-Boy bootlegging rum through the bayou, which is that big statue in the video room with the coffee sack over his shoulder. Also, this bridge up here in the corner is actually the Lorraine Bridge, which is only 15 minutes away from us in Hayes, Louisiana. That is actually the oldest still working wooden bridge in Louisiana.
Fully wooden? Wow.
It is. So they did redo the bridge, not really, but it's still the old bridge. You can go out there and visit. They have a lot of gators out there. You can go fishing and boat riding. And this was actually painted by one of the original owner's brothers when we were originally owned. We were bought out by Stoli Vodka in 2016, which is also how we got Kentucky Owl Bourbon Whiskey as our sister company. And then later in the tour, I'll explain a little more about them as well. If y'all like a picture, y'all are more than welcome.
That's a video.
Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Alright. So before we go ahead and head to our event center, this is just some little interesting facts. So all of these barrels right here are actually the first barrels that we ever filled 7 years ago. They haven't been touched, so they've been aging for quite a while.
Oh, wow.
I just want y'all to keep in mind as well, this is where we get Reserve and Mardi Gras XO. So our Reserve is aged for 4 years in these barrels, and Mardi Gras XO is aged for 5 years, and then it's finished for 1 more additional year in a sherry cask, which is an old wine barrel. So also our Mardi Gras XO is one of the most awarded rums in the United States. Also, just something else to keep in mind, all of our barrels have this char inside of it right here. It's a level 3 char, which allows our rums to extract the maximum bourbon flavor and bourbon color of the bourbon that was in the barrels previously. And then this is just a small example that we have. I'll get more into the barrels when we get into our barrel library. Okay.
So are there any of your rums that are just on site that don't really get distributed out of here, or pretty much everything has pretty good distribution?
We do have one limited.
Okay.
But pretty much everything else does get
And you only make rum, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I know a lot of people make God knows how many other things. It's like,
Oh yeah. I think we do only make rum here, but I think we're about to start bottling for Stoli.
for Stoli, so you start making vodka, yeah.
And then also we do carry Kentucky Owl because we're bottling for them right now as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they have a distillery being built in Bardstown, Kentucky. It should be done in 2027, but that's why we're bottling for them right now.
Okay. So was this added onto the property later? This wasn't original, the event center.
Yes. So the event center, after we were bought out, they started building this, and then it was later finished in 2019. So It's fairly new. I know they had to redo it after we had a couple of hurricanes, but yeah.
Oh, okay. There's all the brands that are owned by this company. There's Stoli, the wine brands.
These are actually all of our sister companies.
Yeah.
So Kentucky Owl is our big one. We have Cenote, which is tequila. Stoli Vodka is who bought us out, and we have wine and gin as well. It's pretty cool. Yes.
Okay, very cool.
Very, very cool. So, welcome to our event center. Our event center was finished in 2019. We have weddings in here, Mardi Gras balls, parties, pretty much anything you want to have in here. And your backdrop would be the barrel library. Our event center holds up to 300 and 350 people, and that includes our new oil-installed courtyard. And then also I did mention that we have the greenhouse in the corner of the property, which we use as our bridal suite as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do they do anything in the barn that's on the corner of the property, or no?
That's just for storage.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
It's a pretty barn
It is
from the outside, but someone left the light. Okay, so this is where you do the actual ceremonies, isn't?
Yes. Some people get
Oh,
married
good God.
outside, some people get married in here.
You can smell it.
It smells very strong in here, yes. All right. So, welcome to our barrel library. We have over 1,700 aging barrels in here and over $11 million worth of rum. Altogether, on our site, we have around 3,000 barrels, which is about $30 million worth of rum.
Good God.
So all of these are used white oak bourbon barrels that we get from multiple distilleries. Most of our barrels are actually from our sister company, Kentucky Owl, since we are bottling for them. They'll send it to us in barrels, we blend it and bottle it and use their barrels for our aged rums. We also get a couple of our barrels from Maker's Mark, Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey, and Heaven Hill. So of course they were all used at one point for bourbon whiskey, and then all of our barrels have that char inside of it. So as our products are aging, they pick up those different bourbon char flavors. So they are rums, but they taste more like bourbon whiskey, which tends to surprise a lot of people. And for our actual aging process, we start out at the very top at 120 proof, just a plain white rum. So after a certain amount of time, our master distiller will taste it. If it's to his liking, they only move half of the rum down and they refill the top one with new rum. They'll keep that same process going over the course of 4 to 6 years, all the way to the bottom. Your oldest barrels will always be at the bottom. We can actually use barrels up to 12 years. And then we do empty them and sell them here at Bayou Rum. Depending on the condition of the barrel, we can actually send them off to Mexico as well. They'll use them to age tequila. We can also do coffee beans, which we carry in our gift shop. And then tobacco for cigars as well. And we just started selling cigars not too long ago, so we're actually working on that as well, which is pretty cool. And also, if y'all notice, the barrel library and the distillery are not climate controlled.
Right.
So the climate in Louisiana, I like to call it the bipolar weather. The climate in Louisiana actually helps us to produce the distinctive rums and flavors that we do. Also, just a little interesting fact. So once the wooden barrels are aging, they actually evaporate over time. We lose about 6 to 7% of our alcohol. They call it angel share. So these stainless steel barrels right here behind y'all are used for experimental purposes. So just for experimental, and we're actually adding different types of wood in here, like cherry, maple, oak.
Oh, so those are completely sealed. Nothing's going to evaporate from that.
Yes, so we actually got these in October of 2024, so we haven't had them for too long.
Wow.
And y'all are more than welcome to look around in here if y'all like. Y'all can walk through the aisles if y'all want.
But the oldest barrels are back in the other facility, correct? Is that?
Those are the oldest.
Those are the originals.
Those ones have not been touched at all.
What does one of these weigh filled?
Sorry?
What does one of them weigh filled? Do you know? Yeah, it's heavy. No one's picking it up by hand. It's a.
Empty, it's about 50 pounds. They're really heavy.
And then you said you sell them as like for people to put in their backyard and stuff like that.
We actually, a lot of people, every time we post we have barrels, it's crazy.
No. But it's if you come in the summer, it's 100 degrees in here, correct? 100, 120 degrees in this oven.
When the summertime rolls around, by the end of the tour, I'm like, it's so hot.
But that's a climate controlled space, I would assume, right? Yeah.
Yes, it is. But this is not at all. Just pretty cool.
Well,
All right, y'all ready?
I think we're ready to taste, unless we got something else before that. So how many different rums do you have? 5 or 6?
We have
7?
8 different rooms.
Oh, wow.
Yes. All right, and we are going to make a short trip back to the gift shop for this.
Perfect. Does your company own any beer companies as well, or no? Is it just rum?
They do not.
They just own liquor companies. So you're just serving domestic stuff when you serve beer here.
No.
Oh, there's no beer. It's just rum.
So we can serve
Whatever they request.
beer, wine.
No. I get that, but I'm saying it's just normal domestic beer, nothing craft or anything.
like
That's what I'm trying to say.
Distillation.
Yeah. That'd be cool if they got a beer company. Then when you have your event space, you can use craft beer. Because I'm headed to a Sad Eagle Brewing Company, which is up the road. Crying Eagle, yeah. And I saw your sign. I was headed to Crying Eagle anyway, and I was like, okay.
Really good food. So.
I'm going to Crying Eagle, and then right next to it is Golden Nugget, right?
Yep.
And then going to Texas. I'm driving all of I-10.
Oh.
And just finding stupid things. I say stupid lovingly. Finding stupid things for people to do right off I-10. And this is one of those that was not on my bingo card or my map, and I saw it, and I was like, okay.
Well, we're glad.
I'm like, good. All right. Bayou Rum. Awesome. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, Bayou Reserve is what I've had before. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
They actually serve it on cruise ships.
It used to be called Select, I believe.
Yeah.
They changed the name of it. But, so we are going to be tasting 6 different rums today. If y'all have any questions, y'all can let me know during the tasting. Once I pour it in y'all's glasses, it's all y'all's to taste. Y'all don't have to wait on me. Once y'all are done with y'all's glasses, y'all can keep them on the ones y'all like, or y'all can set them on the bar mats. If y'all need any more water, we do have a water machine right here.
Perfect. And you serve them all chilled or some room temperature? Okay.
Each ones are not chilled,
Okay.
but the rest of them are.
Okay.
It takes away from the bite a little bit, and also they taste better to me. All right. So the first one we're going to start out with today is our Bayou White. This is the base and start to all of our rums. This is what comes off the stills at 180 proof, but we do cut it back to 80. And Bayou White is a mixer, so it's what you would call, you can use it in place of a tequila or a vodka, margaritas, daiquiris, mojitos.
That's not one you're going to really drink straight, is what you're trying to say.
No. So, yes, definitely a mixer for sure. I mean, if you feel a little bit fun, you can drink it straight, I guess. But.
So this will be harsher than the other ones, essentially.
I would say so.
Just smoothness.
Some people do find it smooth, but some people are like, no.
All right. All right.
So next we're going to get into our aged rums. So this is our reserve, which is aged for 4 years in the used white oak bourbon barrels. So I would say this is the type of rum for bourbon whiskey drinkers. You can use this in place of a bourbon whiskey in cocktails like Old Fashioned, a Manhattan, traditional rum and coke. You can pair it with a nice cigar. It is definitely very smooth, but it might have a little bit of a bite to it because it is not chilled.
Oh, that glass. This is higher ABV too, right? Because it's aged.
No, it's the same one.
It's the same ABV.
Most of them are 40% alcohol.
So they cut it down after the aging.
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's the code. Some people don't cut it down after the
Actually,
aging.
I think either they cut it down or like as it ages, it might
Ooh,
maybe go down.
that was better. All right, Mardi Gras. Is that a year-round rum?
Yep.
Okay. I know some people make, like Abita makes a Mardi Gras beer for just like a few weeks of the year or something like that.
Mardi Gras, we kind of named it. Our master distiller is Cuban, so he kind of likes. We kind of try to.
Same distiller since day one, or they've changed? Okay, so same
Yeah,
distiller.
so it's just like kind of representation for us and them as well. But it's pretty cool. So next is our Mardi Gras XO, which is our top shelf. This is the one aged for 5 years in the bourbon barrels, and then it's taken out and finished in a Pedro Jimenez sherry cask, which is an old wine barrel. So this one is going to be a tad bit sweeter and a lot smoother than Reserve. Also, Mardi Gras XO is actually one of the most awarded rums in the United States, and I would just recommend this one as a really good sipping rum over ice.
You're ready for a comeback.
Yeah. There you go.
Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect.
But other than the 11 years that are still sitting there, this is the oldest thing you got.
Actually, our oldest one is our limited edition.
Oh, okay.
That one's almost 8 years.
Okay.
Let's see if it's back here.
Okay.
This is our limited edition, Labelle XO.
Oh, okay.
This one is aged a little bit longer than XO. They're kind of the same process, but this one is finished in a Kentucky Owl dry state barrel. So, but they're kind of alike, but yes.
Okay.
That one's 189, this one is 79.
Yeah, there's a little difference.
A little bit older.
A little bit older. So this one's like your version of like a Captain Morgan, a spice rum.
Yeah, much better. All right. So next is our spice rum, which is definitely a fan favorite. I like to call this one Christmas in a bottle. It's infused with over 30 different Creole baking spices. So you'll get a little bit of clove, allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla. There's a lot of good stuff in here. You can use this during the holidays or anytime for baking, rum cakes, bread pudding, rum balls. Very good in a Coke. You can do root beer, Dr. Pepper, use it in a hot toddy, mix it in eggnog during Christmas. Technically you can use it in place of a Captain Morgan, but much better.
But other than that $185 one, most of the other ones have wide distribution. You can get it in Total Wines and stuff all over the country. Okay.
Oh yeah, Total Wine, Specs, anything like that.
I'm road tripping and flying home. I like it, but I can just go pick it up at my Total Wine and I don't have to drag it around the country, you know?
Where are you from?
Miami.
Ooh, nice.
And I got to make it to LA by Sunday. Yeah, I know. I'm not looking forward to the drive through Texas. I'm not looking forward to that drive.
The worst drive ever.
Roads are good, but it's a long
Texas is like its own.
Well, fortunately, I have a converted Dodge Caravan that's got a bed in the back of it. So it's like, And Texas lets you stay at rest stops and sleep at rest stops. None of the other states do. So there's that benefit. All right.
So next we're going to get into our liqueur products. This is our Gator Bite Satsuma, which is definitely a fan favorite. This is usually the reason people come here.
Really?
It's infused with real Satsuma orange juice that we get from Plaquemines Parish just right outside of New Orleans. This is very good for any fruity drinks like pineapple juice, orange juice, lemonade. You can use this in place of a triple sec or any orange liqueur and margaritas, daiquiris, Mai Tais, hurricanes. Very, very good. I personally like to mix this in a Sprite. You can also pour over champagne and make a more potent mimosa.
Or ice cream.
Yes, if you're feeling a little bit fun, you can pour over vanilla ice cream for a dreamsicle flavor.
That's what I'm thinking. Oh, that is good.
Oh yeah.
And that's technically a flavored rum, right?
Yeah, it's a rum liqueur.
Yeah.
So last but not least is our coffee liqueur, which is my personal favorite, and it was our bestseller for the year of 2023 and our second bestseller for 2024. Mardi Gras XO was #1. This is infused with real cold brew coffee that we get from New Orleans. They actually get their beans imported from Mexico and Brazil. They'll make a cold brew concentrate for us, and that is what we use for coffee. And I personally like to mix this in my actual coffee. You can do a mudslide, a white Russian, espresso, chocolate martini. You can use this in place of a Kahlua pretty much.
Okay.
You're good? Sure?
Yeah, man.
Just like a half pour. I don't drink coffee, so but I want to try it.
All right. That's the best one.
You would, but I not bad.
I'm a big coffee fan, but I actually get quite a bit of coffee people that actually end up liking coffee. Because it has like a chocolatey hazelnut flavor to it.
Yeah, it's a malty.
Yes, but it is definitely very good.
Oh.
All right. So that does conclude our tour and our tasting. If y'all have any questions, y'all can let me know or let any of the ladies up front know. If y'all want to grab any of the rums, they're all on the shelf right here. Again, if y'all have any questions, please let me know. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. All right. Oh. Grab a little bit more water to wash my palate out. We got 20 minutes till the brewery, so we don't really got a bathroom here.
Which one was the
But, yeah. Thank you. Oh, that was a good pit stop. I'm not gonna lie. That was a great friggin' pit stop. Oh, what's this stuff? What's the pink one? That's just... It's just a flavored... It's just a flavored rum. Oh, okay. Cool. I didn't know. Like, we've seen the other ones. That was a cool stop. I like that. Look, I mean, if you're driving I-10 and you don't stop here, you're a moron. For $11, it's $10 plus a $1 tax. For some reason, there's like a $1 tourism fee or some bullshit like that. But I mean, what do we spend? Half an hour here? Yeah, $11. Got some rum, and I don't have to take the rum home because they got nationwide distribution. It's good rum. I'm gonna have it on every Carnival cruise I go on. That has made me want to try Bayou Rum more when I'm on the cruise. So yeah, that was great. That was great. This is Richard from No Pants Profits, reminding you, when you look for your car keys, no, when you wear no pants, the only thing you got left to lose is your shirt. Ooh, that's a fun one. Is your shirt. All right, from Bayou Rum. Have a great one. Bye. You.